people say, it's the number one pick. Well, stats say that the number one picks are good players. We can't doubt that. But if they don't help you win premierships, and that seems to be the case over a long, long period of time, then maybe pick 2, pick 3, pick 5, still going to be good picks and good players. So we'll just take what we can get.
It was an emphatic win by the Roos, but a shock win nevertheless, and Alistair Clarkson defended it afterwards, as you do need to do these days. Cara, what did you make of Alistair's week and then the win?
Well, I agree with what he said there, although I will say that Hawthorn built a premiership team out of their number one pick, Luke Hodge, and he changed the culture of that football club.
Luke Hodge was overweight and unfit when he first got to that.
He was a number one draft pick.
But you're saying he changed the culture of Hawthorn?
Their on-field culture when he started to lead them, when they made him captain.
But if he wasn't drafted into Hawthorn, he may not have been the player he became.
Number one draft pick played a very big part in Hawthorn's great era. I think we'd all agree with that.
Franklin, Rioli, it takes more than just one.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And it took more than Dustin Martin at Richmond, high pick too. Look, Alistair, I think, had made a few disingenuous comments last week, and I really thought the stuff about the Gold Coast and North Melbourne deserving help was ridiculous, to be frank. And I thought a lot of it was inaccurate. And then he had a bit more to say too, didn't he?
Well, this on Ben Mackay was interesting, and he's playing a pretty close game of poker here.
We'll be fighting for him to stay. We want him to stay, because even in this draft, you say, oh yeah, well, take pick 2 or 3 for Ben Mackay's compensation. It's just like, well, let me know if there's a 6'5", 6'6" fullback, centre half back that's in the draft that we can pick up to replace him, and there ain't at that pick.
I think the last thing they want is Ben Mackay to stay. They want the compensation pick, and this is one who they might be able to get with a pick 2 or a pick 3. West Australian Dan Curtin. Now, granted, I haven't watched the class of the draft as closely as others, but they would say that this guy is around about the mark for them, and this is what you can get in the draft at that pick. And I think they will be beneficial to let Ben Mackay go and get some more young talent in.
Have they actually even offered Ben Mackay a contract?
Well, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think they have. I don't think they want Ben Mackay to stay.
I think it's being mutually constructed. Do you think they did the right thing winning?
Yes.
Yep. You're 100%. Strong on it. Why?
I always have been.
Yeah. So
because I've never ever seen a team. I'm mounting the argument that I've never actually seen a team benefit from actually losing a game. I think that what that'll do for those guys over the off season, and even just justify what Alistair's trying to do, far outweighs getting a kid into your footy club.
So you think one win on the end of a 20-week loss is worth sabotaging the ability to completely dictate terms, get a generational talent in Harley in, and construct your own destiny in this draft period?
Well, you construct to me how Alistair construes to lose that game on the weekend.
Yeah, I think it was an absolutely... But
explain how you do it, though. Explain how, when you're good enough to beat a team, how do you orchestrate that to your players? Tell me.
So I respect your view and that you... I understand
But can you answer that for me first?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a difficult game to manufacture to lose in if you wanted to lose in it. So,
but explain how you do it. If you were the coach of North, what do you do?
Yeah, well, the challenge was Nick Larkey was alive for the Coleman, right? So that was the difficult part. Yeah. But putting him away a couple of weeks ago for the off-season...
But when he comes back to Clarko and he says to his teammates, hey, Clarko's put me away when I'm right to play.
Well, the players are always going to try and win, aren't they?
Yeah.
So the players are always going to try and win.
Exactly what you meant.
Yeah, but no one will remember that game one way or another, ever. Yeah. Whereas if Harley Reid, pick 2, and the other players you could have put around it, set your entire footy club up. I think the spoils were way too great.
Even though they're probably going to get Harley anyway.
Harley Reid?
Yes.
How?
Because West Coast might like somebody else.
You don't think they'll take Harley Reid?
There's a big chance they don't.
That's what everyone's reporting. West Coast want a homegrown player, Craig. Craig, that is the most horrible, cynical, nasty view of world sport, national sport, of our great game. Nick Larkey, it means a bit to Nick Larkey that he came out and kicked all those goals. It means a lot to all those North. Who will remember that game? The North supporters who've actually gone to every game as loyal supporters have finally got to see a win. The players who finally get to your mate Zero, finally get to Eddie Ford, finally get to experience a win. I just can't understand how you could think anyone. And Alistair Clarkson has made some silly comments in recent weeks, but that was absolutely spot on. And every team who is... You might go back to Collingwood getting Pendlebury all those years ago, but teams who have tanked as blatantly as you were suggesting they should have, by dropping Nick Larkey, never benefit.
Are you finished yelling?
No, it just annoys me that you could actually mount that argument.
I have a different view. They were that close to constructing their own future, and I feel like they had to finish the job. And that is, I don't know why everyone talks around.
They've been trying.
You're the only one, I reckon, in the game that's doing it.
Well, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be the line.
But if you do that with your own club that you own, I think you're not going to travel too far. If you're wanting to lose games of sport just to get players in.
I think they were in a position to get what they wanted and more.
But they got Horn Francis a year ago, and look what happens when you're not a good club.
Okay, I understand the counter view. I understand it's a majority.
Your basketballers and netballers wouldn't like to hear you say that, Craig.
Well, that's okay.